Network. ZNS Network. ZNS Network. Bahamas.
What's the secret of change? We don't fight the old. Instead, we focus on building the new. Welcome to the Table of Change. Come on in and have a seat at our table.
It's another Tuesday. I just love me some Tuesday, just all because of Table of Change. We are here, Bahamas. Tune in to 104.5, 1540 AM, 810 Delight. Guess what? Tonight, I want you to pull up your chairs. Just pull it right up because we have some big food in here tonight. I want you to also get your paper and pen because we are going to be educated. There's going to be some information that we need to write down because, you know, once you write it down, you seem to remember it more. So, guys, let's do this tonight. Table of Change, Bahamas. Are you ready? Tamara.
Oh my goodness, Jackie. I don't know if the success was coming after the way you said, how am I ready? I was ready for John Canoe after you said that. You got me fired up.
Good stuff.
But tonight, you know, Jackie, we listened to the audience, right? Mm-hmm. Because we had a past guest talking about school policing, and the demand was so great to have that guest back on the show. So we heard you, Table of Change listeners, and we have that gentleman back in studio with us today. But Jackie, you know, so many of our audience was so impressed with the job that this department is doing that I agreed with you and said that we have to get them back in.
Yes, most certainly.
Get your cups ready. Like Jackie said, get your pen and paper ready. Pull up to the table because we have a discussion tonight. We have two men in studio tonight in uniform. And you know it helps when you're good looking too. Sharp, intelligent men in uniform tonight. First of all, we have the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Public Safety and School Policing. His career began in 1993 to present. He has numerous degrees in law enforcement, a Doctor of Education degree in organization, leadership, and conflict resolution. He is a published author of several books and research studies, including Homicide in the Bahamas, Reducing Murders in the Bahamas, The Story of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. He was attached to so many different departments in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And now also he's worked with different U.S. entities like the FBI and the DEA. He has accomplished so much within the organization of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. So our first guest tonight is Dr. Chaswell, Hanna, Assistant Commissioner of Police and Public Safety and Schools Policing. And guess what? We're not going to just have one, we have two. In studio tonight, we have Mr. Keith Ferguson, Superintendent of Police Officers in charge of school policing. He was born in Nassau, Bahamas. He has so many different awards and certificates. Both of these men believe in higher learning. And he has 7 years in the hotel industry. And he joined the police force in 1999. So tonight, here on Table of Change, we have Dr. Chaswell, Hanna and Mr. Keith Ferguson. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yay! Nice to have you both.
Thank you so much.
You know, Jackie, we got the bios. Gentlemen, we are impressed with the bios, and we can see how pristine you are, that you respect your uniform, you respect your position. But guess what? We see you on television, different interviews that you've done. Humor us for a minute. Tell me, what would your best friend say about you? 3 words that your best friend would use to describe you.
He loves
Mr.
football.
Hanna, Mr. Ferguson.
He loves football.
That's coming from Mr. Hanna. Assistant Commissioner of Police Hanna said that's what his friend would say.
He loves football.
He loves football. That's it.
Who's your favorite team now? We ain't gonna fight
The
here.
Tennessee Titans.
Oh, I was a Buffalo Bills kind of woman.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Mr. Ferguson, what about you?
It's an honor to serve.
Wow.
Honor to serve. I like that. I like that. You know, one of the things that we really wanted to do tonight is we wanted to have an update of what's going on in terms of school policing and just get a better idea and an appreciation for what happens in school policing. And then we also have like another topic. We want to discuss customer service. Does customer service play a role in an officer's duty? But we're going to start with the school policing. And we got so many questions in, gentlemen. I really need you to sit back and take it all in because we have so many questions that's being sent in. And the first question is, what exactly is a school police officer?
Good evening, Tamara. Good evening, Jacqueline. Good evening, Bahamas. School policing. What is school policing? Well, firstly, let me start by saying that school policing, we have three objectives. Firstly, we assist the Ministry of Education with ensuring that our schools are safe, secure, and that they are a stable environment conducive to learning. As our first and main objective. Secondly, we assist the Ministry of Education, the teachers, the staff with positive youth engagement activities. And then thirdly, we may enforce any laws that may be breached on the school campuses or the surrounding areas. Our school resource officers, they are internationally trained through NASRO, the National Association of School Resource Officers. So and a lot of places don't know that. You know, it's a specialty area. You can't just take an officer from the station or from mobile patrol and just put them in the school. They must be internationally certified through NASRO. Our school resource officers, and let me just give them just a little prop. They are hardworking, dedicated, committed to their schools, to the students, the community, the administration. They come to work every day, and they perform. You know, and we talk about customer service, and our students, the community, the parents, the teachers, the administration, they are all a part of our customers when it comes to service.
What I like about you saying that they're all trained, so to me it says that they know how to deal with children, they know how to communicate, they have patience, and they can handle them like children. And that's really, really something that we really do need. You don't need someone who's rough and tough to deal with the children, so that's really excellent.
It's great, and we must take into consideration that each child has its own different dynamics, okay? Different struggles, issues. And some may need a little more love, we call it love,
Right.
than others. And it's our sole purpose to divert students in a positive direction, so they may not be a part of the life of crime or criminality, so they become productive members of society. You know, we want to empower our youths. The youths are the future of the Bahamas.
Right. And what's very good about that as well is that, growing up on the islands and in the communities, children love police officers. They just love that protection. So it's good that you are even able to train them because they respect police officers. And, for me, when I look at all of the events that police officers have, it's basically geared towards children. Like even when they go downtown to the what do you call it? But they have in Rawson Square.
Beat retreat.
Yeah, the beat retreat. I think the police kids are there, and when they go in the community, you always try to meet with the children, and which tells you're trying to prepare the nation for the future, which is very good.
Yes, and it's very important. Life is about relationships. Okay, and when we can develop relationships with our youths, it speaks volumes. Because here's it now. if we have situations that are going right in our communities, because of our relationship with our students, we're able to get what you call information or intelligence to resolve these matters. And I've found, we have one or two, we say, programs like Second Chance, where we seek to, we have our youth at-risk students. We seek to divert them, like I say, from a life of crime. Studies have shown that even we work hand in hand with Ministry of Education, the attendance unit of the Ministry of Education. Studies have shown that when students duck school or are absent from school, they tend to turn to a life of criminality. So it's important that we ensure that our students remain in school, remain focused, that they get that foundation when it comes to education, to learning. It's very important.
Tamara, one thing with me and Tamara, we can look at each other's eyes and know that it's her turn.
I'm just getting so many questions, gentlemen. Text to me. There's a meeting within the meeting, and I'm getting text to me for Officer Ferguson, Superintendent Ferguson.
Yes, Tamara.
When did this department develop? When did this start? Because the person that sent it in, she's like, I don't remember this always being a part, police officers being in school. So she wants to know, when did it start and what made this become a needed department?
I'll answer that question for you. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, you used to see those WhatsApp videos going around with students fighting all the time, some by one of the local malls and shopping areas. And it became so frequent that the Ministry of Education, reached out to the police force and said, how could we partner to prevent these incidents from happening in and around school campuses. So during that time, we started a pilot program where we had police officers. They weren't trained at that time, but they started to work along with the school security officers and administration to try and prevent fights. And we saw the numbers start to decline. After conducting further research on the school resource officer program, we decided to send some officers away to be trained internationally and to work actually in several schools. I think we started with 6 schools in New Providence. And when we compared the number of incidents prior to and after the adoption of the program, the numbers went down. And so the Ministry of Education decided to expand the program. And so 3 years later, we have SROs in all of the junior and senior public high schools throughout New Providence and the entire Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Excellent. And in terms of statistics, in terms of improving in the school, she wants to know, do you have any statistics to share with us?
Yes, we do. And I think when this semester ends, the police force will be sharing some official statistics. But at the moment, we enjoy about a 37% decrease in school incidents. This includes fights, assaults, knives, drugs, possession at school, straight across the board, a 35% decrease from the inception of the program to present. It used to be you see these videos going around on social media just about every day. Now you don't see videos. And in fact, what we have with some mischievous members of the public do, they get videos from other jurisdictions, Jamaica, other Caribbean countries, and they send it out purporting to be the Bahamas because they miss those fights so much, apparently. They go to other countries and share it as if it's ours, but they're not ours, all right? So we enjoy about a 35 to 37% decrease.
Excellent. Jackie, we got to take a minute to applaud the department. I can imagine just a balancing act of dealing with school administration, dealing with the students, dealing with the parents, being a police officer to enforce the law, and to be, diplomatic with the kids. How do they balance that hat?
Well, it's through training and professionalism. As Superintendent Ferguson said, it's a specialty area. So in order to work in a school, not only do you have to complete that international certification, but you also have to be approved by the Ministry of Education. All right, so when we select the right officer and they are properly trained and vetted, you will get an excellent school resource officer who loves those kids and the entire makeup of the school campus. And their focus is to improve school safety, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
We have another question for you. Do these officers have guns on the campuses?
Absolutely. And that is a part of their tools. Could you imagine if an incident, maybe an outsider who's armed, tries to harm somebody on the school campus, and you have a police officer who's ill-prepared to protect students? They are there to protect students, teachers, and faculty from harm. So they are fully equipped, not only with firearms, but also body cams. Okay, so they are fully equipped officers. Now, we don't have them strapped on an M4 machine gun walking around campus. Their weapons are properly concealed for a school environment, but they are fully prepared to respond to any situation that will call them to protect members of the school environment.
Excellent. We have another, it's a concern. A parent says she's noticing vaping being a problem around the school. Is that something that your officers are bringing to your attention, or?
Well, we're monitoring. We may have one or two minor incidents with vaping. We bring in voices in from the various, we call them external partners, social services, Ministry there of Health, to come and speak with the student, to educate the students. A lot is about education and make sure informing the students of the dangers. What are the dangers of vaping? You know, with smoking, you call it secondhand smoke. With vaping, you call it you get third-hand smoke. Because here's it now. When you vape, the chemicals that falls on the desk or the table or the chair, once you touch that could be absorbed through your skin. Okay, so we bring in our partners who have expertise in this area, and they speak, and we educate our SROs, you know, but we try to send the message, the danger. What are the danger? You know, like they say, stranger danger back in the day. What are the dangers of vaping? You know, and how to stay away from vaping.
And if a student is caught with a vaping device or something in their backpack, does anything happen to them? Do you just take it away, or is it?
Well, it's considered to be a contraband. And contraband is basically anything that's not allowed on a school premises, whether it be a cell phone, it could be some extra change of clothing, it could be the vapor, you know, vaping, you know. So anything, a tablet, anything that's not allowed on the school compound, and there are policies in place. And usually in that case, the student and the vape, he will be taken to the administration, and then we will contact the necessary, whether it be parents, guardians, and if we need to bring the internal powers into play, we do that. And then we call something called parent-teachers conferences, okay? And it's helpful. And we, like I say, we must educate our students to be responsible. And they police themselves. Once we could educate them to be responsible, they police themselves. So it takes that onus off of us.
Tamara, just want, you know, I heard him said extra clothing. Did you say if the kids have extra clothing?
Well, sometimes like this, if a student maybe want to duck.
I like that. I want to commend you for that, because that's actually helping the parents.
Yes.
Because, you know, you have children who have other plans, you know, after school. That's very good.
We encourage our parents during PTA meetings to always, in the evening, check the backpacks of the students. See what they have in the students. See what they're writing in the books.
In the mornings, before they go to school.
Before and after school. Make sure they're not bringing home anything or taking anything to school that they shouldn't be taking. You know, it's very important.
Great job.
You know, Jackie and I just want to thank both of you and the Commissioner of Police for you coming into the studio to tackle a little issue we had. We had one of our table of change listeners come in and tell us about an issue that he experienced with the police force. Now we all know we all know assistant commissioner, we all know superintendent. That is three sides of a story, right? But here at Table of Change, we try to find out where was the loophole. How could we plug the loophole for the next time happening? So we were lucky enough to have Thomas come back. Thomas is via Zoom. If you can please unmute your microphone, Thomas, and anyone else that's on mute.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And Thomas is here tonight because he had an incident with a car and being stolen. So he's just going to take a few minutes to kind of give you a brief idea of what happened so we could know how better to handle it for another time, or what we as the person involved should do, and what maybe the police could have done to assist us. Go ahead, Thomas.
A few months back, I had an incident where I was leaving a bank where I had some friends cleaning, and of course I was approached by two gunmen, and of course I tried to de-escalate the situation because, well, you know how these fellas are nowadays. They act now and don't really think about their actions. So I got out of the vehicle and let them. They take it. They only came for the vehicle. They didn't come for anything else. They didn't ask me for any phone or anything of the sort. They just wanted the vehicle. They jumped in the vehicle and went their way. Of course, I was traumatized because I never had guns to my head before. And so I called, as soon as they left, I called 911. And I left them know where I was, and I let them know what happened. And their first question to me was, why were you at the bank at that time? Which to me was a bit alarming because, you know, I'm here trying to get help, and it seemed like it felt like to me like I was the problem. And if you get what I'm saying. So I told them, I told them what I was doing there, and then they said, well, you shouldn't be, if the people are working there, you shouldn't be disturbing the people. But anyways, this is what calling 911, this is the solution that I got from calling 911. So then they said, oh, the only thing they could suggest to me is that I go to the nearest police station and report that, which I did. And then the story is a long story. I'm just trying to think what parts would be important, key parts to lighten on, because a couple of days later, I called the police station. After I wrote my report, a couple of days later, I called them to find out any information on the vehicle. And at the time, they told me that, yeah, the vehicle was found, and they gave me the information as to where I'm supposed to go to make sure that it's my vehicle, and to ensure that I'm just secure it, to then come back to them, let them know that it's my vehicle, and then they will give me the release papers to be able to have my vehicle, which I thought that was kind of strange because I thought I would have gotten a call first as soon as the vehicle was found, rather than it being the other way around. So when I went to the location, the vehicle wasn't there. They didn't have the vehicle. The wrecker did not have the vehicle. He said the vehicle is not in my possession. I heard about the situation, but the vehicle is not in my possession. You're going to have to return to the station and ask them for more information because I don't know. I don't have your vehicle. So I went back to the station and I asked him, what am I supposed to do? Because I went to the place they told me to go and the vehicle wasn't there. So they told me to just sit and wait for a bit. They'll do some research. They did find the vehicle, but they'll do their research. They spent a while researching, and they told me, sorry, you might have to come back tomorrow for us to do our investigation to figure out exactly where the vehicle is. So I called back the next day, and they said, well, I called back the next day and I spoke to a different officer, and that officer said they were looked in the system, and they looked in the system and they said, unfortunately, that vehicle, I don't know who gave you the information that vehicle was found, but that vehicle was never found. Which I thought that was kind of strange because I was just told the day prior that the vehicle was found. So, anyways, so I told them, what am I supposed to do? They said, well, let's, check back. We haven't found the vehicle. So our system shows that there's no vehicle found under that license plate number or, that vehicle description. So, I thought that was kind of strange, but that was the outcome of that. Then the next day, which was a Monday, I believe, I got a call from the wrecker that I'd actually gone to find out if he had the vehicle. He called me, he said, hey, and you the young man who was checking about that vehicle? I said, yeah. He said, well, that vehicle was found on, he gave me the location of where the vehicle was found. And he said, I'll send you a picture of it so you can tell me if this is actually a vehicle. They called me on site. So he sent me a picture via WhatsApp. And yeah, it was my vehicle. So I went out there. But I still thought it was strange because they found the vehicle and the first person they called was the wrecker. I would have thought that first person you would have tried to call is the owner to confirm that this is indeed their vehicle and to confirm whether there's anything, missing or whatever it is. But he called me. And so I drove down there and I saw the vehicle. It was in pretty rough shape. And they told me the vehicle cannot be released to me yet until they've done the investigation or whatever on the vehicle, which was fingerprints and such like. And then after that, they had the vehicle towed to the yard of the record driver. And I had to go and get the release papers, and then I would have to go to the record driver's yard in order to be able to collect my vehicle. So I wasn't able to I thought I could have just had the record, just dropped it directly off my own record, but they said no, he's going to take it to his yard. And once I come in and get the release papers, I can go back and claim my vehicle from the record's yard. Mm-hmm. So I had to go. So I went and got the release papers, and I had to go back to the record yard, and I had to pay the release for him. I had to pay for the towing and for I think it spent a day. So yeah, the towing and the day that it spent in his yard, I had to cover that cost before I was able to get my vehicle. But yeah.
Oh, Thomas, I just want to be sure. What I'm hearing is with the situation, and thank you so much for taking the time to share it again with us, because I can hear in your voice that it's still upsetting to you. It's still lying there.
Yeah.
But I think I just want to make sure that the officers are aware of in terms of what are you asking, because when Jackie and I heard it, that's how we formulated, does customer service play a role in an officer's duties? I hear the 911 call the operator in terms of you're the customer in the situation like this. In terms of the way she spoke to you, how did she make you feel?
I don't know. It really made me feel like I was the one in the wrong. I mean, like I did something majorly wrong. That's what I really felt like. I'm like, when she said, why were you even there? And I'm like, actually, did you miss the part where I said I got robbed by two gunmen? Mm-hmm. That's what my first.
And then I'm also hearing, you didn't say it now, but when you spoke with us before, you said that you were robbed of your vehicle and you were now asked to get to the police station.
That's correct.
So your concerns is the 911 operator, how she made you feel, being at the scene of the crime and having to now find a ride in the night to get to the station. Then you also are concerned about who was supposed to update you in terms of where to get your car, what would be the cost when you pick up your car, so you had some type of service being done to you instead of you now just having to keep call and begging and pleading and trying to get information, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, so Thomas, thank you so much for calling. Gentlemen, please, if you have anything to share in terms of enlightening him on how the 911 operator made him feel, how he was told that he had to make his way to the station without having a vehicle, and just who should have updated him on the status of what was happening with his car so we can have an idea.
Okay, well, first of all, it's very unfortunate what he said. If it happened in the manner in which he did, we are concerned about the level of incidents where customer service comes into question. It is a training opportunity for the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Training is continuous and ongoing. When I wore the training hat, we trained everybody from Chief Superintendent straight down, continuous training. Customer service is a part of all of the training courses. And 911 call takers and operators and dispatchers go through continuous customer service training. So we're going to continue to get better at what we do. If there's opportunities for improvement, if there's an officer who is found wanting, they are going to be dealt with. So we make no apologies for any officer who did something what they should not or was trained better to do, okay? So we're going to continue the training. When you find these incidents, please bring it to our attention so we can correct it. As far as finding a ride, what should have happened, and as I said, I don't know the specific facts other than what the caller stated, but an incident like that, if there's an armed robbery, units would be dispatched to the scene to look for the suspects and render whatever assistance when necessary. But if the main point is customer service, that is a high priority of the police force, and it's embedded in all of our training courses, from the recruit on the front end to our professional development courses throughout your entire career. And we're going to continue to work on that.
Assistant Commissioner of Police, Hanna, I love that you said what you said, because table of change, what we are seeking to do is transform the culture of service. And when you said we want people to share, and that's exactly what we want to happen. We are seeking for the Royal Bahamas Police Force to partner with us, where we can have table of change, a banner or something in each station with a cell number, letting people who go in for service, letting them know that you can share your experience, and all the experience are not going to be bad, and we don't want them to be bad. But we want to be able to applaud people that give good service, and want to be able to let persons who are giving bad service. Sometimes people give service and they don't even realize. Table of Change is not looking for them to lose their job. We want to be able to speak with them and sort of change. Sometimes when you speak with someone, then they get it. It kind of changed the way they think one-on-one. And together we can change this. And in the process, sometimes it takes some pruning. I'm thinking about, because when a tree needs to be pruned, it's not a good feeling. It hurts. And so, but that's what have to happen in the Bahamas at this stage, because the service is becoming so bad now. And pruning just means that sometimes you might not be able to get that promotion. Sometimes we have to speak to people, the supervisors, the people in charge, to pay attention. Pay attention to people that are under you and make sure, train them the best that you can. Let them know when they're wrong, because if you are someplace and you can get away with doing wrong, you are going to always do it. So we have to pay attention to that. Tamara, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can I say something? So in each police station or police facility, there's a photograph of the Governor General, the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, the Commissioner of Police, and also the officer in charge. And there's also a phone number of the officer in charge. If any member of the public who comes in a police station and feels that they were not handled in a professional manner, they can call the officer in charge. And if they're not satisfied with the officer in charge's response, they are free to bring it to the attention of the Commissioner of Police, and it will be addressed. And all of the commanders, their numbers are listed on our police website, royalbahamaspolice.org. Our cell numbers are public information. So if there's any complaint, customer service or otherwise, please, members of the public, feel free to reach out to your commander and ask for assistance if you're not satisfied. The assistant commissioner's numbers are listed, and you could reach out to the office of the commissioner for any complaint.
Now, that is some great information. We have someone on the line, a caller, Miss Ray.
Hello, good night.
Good
How
night.
you doing?
We are all great.
Oh, hold on, let me turn off the radio.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hold on. Yes, good night. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you.
Okay, good night to the officers and good night, Bahamas. Now,
Good night.
I listen to your show, and I really appreciate all that the officers are doing to protect the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and the citizens. But now, lady, two things are really alarming to me, really concerning to me.
Did we lose her?
Hello.
We're listening.
Yes, two things concerning me. I wanted to know. A lot of time I go out in the morning time for a walk, and most of the time, a certain hour of the morning, I see school children hiking or walking to go to school. What is going on? I don't want to get anybody into problem, but it's really concerning to me because right now a lot of people are moving back to home, and you don't really know them like that. These children, where they're coming from, is the schedule of the bus too early, or is it what's going on? Like, why aren't the parents and the teachers and the bus driver and who's supposed to be responsible for these children? And they have the bus. And certain hour of the evening, you see children walking like a group of maybe about 6 or 10 children trying to get to a certain settlement. I don't understand what's going on. That's number one. And number two is I'm really concerned about this mosquito thing that is going on. Since we had the rain, a lot of mosquitoes are out now. So what the children, what the people are planning on to do about the mosquitoes in the morning time? They can wait till something break out before they do something, or what they're planning to do. But
Thank you, caller.
All right, well, I can't speak to the mosquito issue, but insofar as the students, listen, it's the parents' responsibility to make sure their children get to and from school. Parents, unfortunately, from the school policing, we have some challenges with our parents. Some parents take a handoff approach with these kids. All right? Some parents have no interest or no concern for these kids. Some of these kids fend for themselves. So if you're asking who's responsible, it's the parent. The police officers, while we would love to continue to support these kids, positively engage them, show them the right way, we cannot adopt all of the children. That is the parents' responsibility. Okay, so when it comes down to that, before and after school, we have officers who are on patrol. You know, there's, under the Education Act, school-age students are supposed to be in school between 9 and 3. If we see, we have early morning patrols. If we see school kids, some of them like to hang out in barber shops, breakfast stands. Some of them buy lunch even after 10 o'clock. Not buy lunch, breakfast and these candies at these snack food places prior to school. We, with the truancy unit and our school policing unit, other units, we deal with them, all right, with their parents. Okay, so that's being addressed. But it really comes down to parents. And Superintendent Ferguson, maybe we could talk about the school busing system.
Yeah, and then just to add to what ACP Hanna said, everything starts at home. Discipline, respect, conflict resolution skills, communication skills, all these starts at home. When before a child is introduced into the community or the church or civic group or organization or a school, the foundation is laid at home. And we always stress to our parents that their role is is very important. It's vital for the child's development. We call it school policing a team approach. That's how we look at it. Whereas the parent, they have their responsibilities and duties. Their responsibility is to ensure that the student go to bed on time. Okay? They're not working no long hours to no job after school. They get home in a timely manner. They do their homework. They get something to eat. And likewise in the morning, they get up in a timely manner. They are dressed. Okay? They get to school on time. It is very important. That's the foundation. And where parents may need assistance, we have our external partners, social services. We have certain initiatives at the schools. If they need to have a lunch or breakfast, these things are provided through the ministry.
Going back to Thomas' case, and for me, I would like you to declare what's the process, and when you for the wrecker, how does that work? Because it feels like it's another burden for your car to be stolen. You now have to probably rent a car to get to work and from work, and then you're going to be also have to pay the wrecker. Do you have any?
Yeah, the process is very intricate. It's not like a exact ABC process because when you're dealing with a stolen vehicle, this vehicle, if it was used in another offense, that becomes more complicated. If the vehicle has been damaged, it's another set of stuff you have to deal with. If parts are missing from the vehicle, that's another issue. So this thing with vehicles is not a simple process. There's so much have to be going on with that. We want to make sure that once we are finished with our investigations and all our processes are complete, the person can get their vehicle back. So it's not an exact science because it's so much going on depending on the incident. Okay, so on a case-by-case basis, if I go back to my original point, if a member of the public doesn't feel satisfied with how the police, in this case, that would be the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, that deals with stolen vehicles. The officer in charge of CID's numbers listed on the website. You could go to CID and speak. You have a right to speak to the officer in charge for them to assist you in your matter and getting your vehicle. Okay, so I would say it's an intricate process. It's not a simple, hard and fast project. All right, so everything is on a case-by-case basis, depending on what's going on.
Okay. That's great to know. Do we have Cassie on the line? I see that you have something to say.
Hi, yes, I am radio.
Great. Go ahead, please. Nice to have you.
Thank you. So my situation in regards to the customer service part would have been, I had a matter that needed to be dealt with. So I went to the police station that I should have reported to, which would have been the Elizabeth police station. And I went there, I explained what happened. They told me to give them a minute, that they didn't have a patrol car. And so me, I want to say Bobo the Fool, was sitting there for about 6 hours. And I literally just stay patient, calm, waiting, because it isn't, I'm not the person to say get riled up or anything along those lines. Patience is a job. And I suddenly thought to myself, hey, it doesn't seem like, this is going to actually be actioned or prioritized. And so I was just sitting there trying to think of who all I know. So I made a phone call to my father. And he told me, he said, don't worry, but I can call somebody I know. And then I still sitting there and I still trying to figure out who all I know. And then I remember, I knew somebody who had, I wouldn't say power, but someone of authority. And I made a phone call. And within about 5 minutes, the same officers that stated that they did not have a patrol car to carry me to my destination, now came out of the station, pull a patrol car right there in front of the yard and say, "Mistakes, let's go."
Wow.
And it just was very disturbing for me. I mean, I don't know, because I didn't carry myself in a certain manner, or I wasn't making a fuss about it. again, this is not something that is of my nature. So if you say mistakes, give me a second. Just wait. I'm going to do that. But it took me having to call someone else, in order to get my matter resolved. And again, I do believe customer service is a serious thing in the Bahamas, because I also work in the customer service industry, and I always try to put myself in the customer's foot. So most times I just try to understand and find a resolution. But this is a problem that we have just about everywhere, and they didn't take me seriously, until they realized the severity of the situation. But again, this is something that could have went pretty left pretty fast, but nobody listened to what I had to say.
My response to that would be what I said earlier. If you were not happy with the level of customer service that you were afforded, you have a right to make a complaint, first to the officer in charge of the station. Okay? And if you're not satisfied with what that officer did, we also have the complaints and corruption branch at police headquarters, where you are free to make a complaint. And the only way we're going to get better is if we know about these incidents. You have to let us know. If your matter was resolved because of a phone call, that's one thing. But if you really want this to be prevented from happening again, I trust that you would make or would have made a complaint first to the officer in charge and then up the line like that. We need to know. Officers, we tell officers in training, you never say that you don't have a vehicle ready, available, because we have many different vehicles from many different areas at any given point. It just takes a simple phone call or radio transmission to call for assistance. And we are going to continue to let and remind officers of that. But again, if you have a complaint, you must let us know, lodge that complaint, so it could be dealt with.
So that's very good. So Bahamas, we know that all of the Assistant Commissioner of Police number is on
the Royal Bahamas Police, www.royalbahamaspolice.org. All of the divisional commanders, assistant commissioners, all leadership team, all the cell numbers and email addresses are there listed, free for you to reach out and lodge whatever complaints or compliments you may have.
That's a good thing, and we need to use that, and I think that should keep them more accountable, because we are not going to sit back and just take it. Because I'll share this. I was by the Elizabeth Clinic, and there was a young lady sitting on the wall, and I was in my car, and I just thought, let me find out, because it was late in the evening, and I spoke with her, and she said she was in the police station for a very long time dealing with a matter, and they took so long, and now she wants to get home, but the bus is not running. And she told them that she didn't have, there's no way for her to get home. And I didn't want to take her, because she sort of told me what she was dealing with. And I saw an officer. This story started bad, but it ended up very good. I saw someone outside, and so from the clinic, I kind of got his attention and spoke with him. And he understood and took that young lady and dealt with her. And so that's a complete story where it started off bad, but it turned around very, very good.
Well, I'm happy you did not give her a ride, because we advise members of the public, do not give a ride to strangers.
Yes.
Man, woman, or child, because you may be setting yourself up, unfortunately, for something else. The police station is right there. They could offer assistance. I'm happy you didn't do that.
Thank you so much, Cassie, for sharing that story, that real story. Mr. Cox, go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You in there?
Good evening.
Okay, so according to the crime situation, that is typical. It is no system for crime to be created, but it is always a system where you have to go through to get your report done and get this done and get that done. But it is no immediate response when it comes to police, unless it is very severe. And that's my fact. That's from my experience with the police officers. A lot of people call in and say the same thing. They've been in the station very long, they hang up very long, but it's typical. And that's why a lot of people refute to go to the police. But we have to do something with this system so that we could be proactive and not linger around and the criminal is gone and everything done happen and then the police reach. We just need to be proactive in this system. That's my 5 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Someone was asking, make sure I get it right. She was saying why was the car taken to the records yard and not in the police yard for the person to pick it up?
Again, this particular case, I don't have the facts on it.
Okay.
I advise the gentleman to speak to the OC of CID. I don't have the facts on it. But as I said, when you're dealing with a stolen vehicles, there's a number of reasons and happening. Sometimes you got to look at these record drivers. Some of these record drivers may recover a stolen vehicle and take it to their compound and try and get a few extra dollars, and the police know nothing about it. So we don't know. We don't know all the facts. So we like to, we like to blame. We like to blame the police on everything. Some of these record drivers may be trying to run their own operation. We have record drivers in incidents where they would just tow a car. To tow a car, it's under the direction of a member of the public or a police officer. But some record drivers tow a car and charge the people. We don't know anything about it.
Wow.
Things get damaged. They blame the police. So there's so much possibilities. We don't have the facts. That's why I'm not going to assume what he said is factual without having all the facts before me. So I advise him to go to the OC of the Criminal Investigation Department, and ask for assistance with that particular matter.
Okay. We have I was speaking with someone today, and he brought up something that I wanted to say as well. If someone is in breach, like they are on the road and something they're doing that the police ought to stop them, and they do stop them, why most times they have to seem so rude in stopping them? And I'm saying, listen, you're wearing the uniform, the power speaks for itself. It just can be so nice doing something wrong, but you don't have to be rude. You can be polite, mannerly, and say exactly what it is. You have the control, use it.
Well, that's why we have body cameras. In addition to customer service, that body cam, we review those body cams. If there's a complaint, member in public lodge a complaint of customer service, we review the body cam. And it's a training opportunity. If the officer is found wanting, he or she will be dealt with. Mm-hmm. But these officers, we're expanding the body cam program and usage. So that police citizen encounter will be recorded.
Great.
And we use that in the training classroom to say, hey, this should have been said, this could have been avoided, you could have de-escalated the situation, etc., like that. So we're constantly using these incidents for training opportunities to get better.
Yes. Tamara, I know you're looking at me.
The only thing, we had another question come in. I know time is limited. She wanted to know, how does your department deal with cyberbullying, and do you get involved with that being on the school campus?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Mr. Ferguson, you could answer.
Yes, we do. We have learned that a lot of cases, before there's a physical or verbal altercation, a lot of times these things start online, the different social media platform. So we do have, we take great initiative, and when we speak about positive youth engagement activities, one of the key topic is the dangers of cyberbullying, or just bullying in general. You get different formats. You get physical bullying, you get verbal bullying, we get social bullying, and then you have cyberbullying. So we just try to educate, like you say, we try to educate our students so they can police themselves. So when they see bullying is taking place, they say, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't do it. But our SRO speaks to the students daily, presentation on the dangers and why they should not bully a fellow student. I think all of us at some point were either bullied growing up or was the bully.
Yes. And I think we have to teach our children too to be able to tolerate some things, not because someone is calling your names or saying stuff. We have to be able to change the way we are thinking about it, teach our children and say, no, you're bigger than that. You just don't have to answer.
Yes.
And so we have to do that. Tamara, I heard you.
No, I know, gentlemen, time is limited, but I want to hear from each one of you. I'll give you at least 2 minutes because, your job is so stressful. Your job is combated with, Bahamian people and us coming at you and the police do this and the police do that. But we all know at the end of the day, we need the police. We appreciate the police. What do you say to that school kid that's looking at you and say that he wants to be a police officer? What is the rewarding part about being a police?
Well, police officers, we are from the society. And a lot of time I tell persons, whatever is happening in this society is reflection of us. Okay? And I would tell a young person who look at me and say, listen, if you want to be a police, you got to be disciplined.
Yes.
Okay? That's the first thing. Not just discipline in your words or your mannerism, your actions as well, your thoughts. Okay? Your daily procedures. What time do you get up in the morning to get ready to go to school? Okay? What time you go to bed? All this is part of discipline.
That's right.
Okay? You got to be disciplined. Are you a young person of integrity? Okay? And what is the definition of integrity in a nutshell? Doing the right thing when someone's notorious is not around, So are you a person of integrity? Are you doing the right thing? Do your teacher, your mother, or the police officer have to be around for you to do the right thing? Okay? And then the next thing I also encourage persons, young persons, be respectful.
Yes.
Be respectful. Have respect not only for others, but first for yourself. But our young persons are our future. And I would just like for us to continue to work together, to continue to pour positively into our youths, so that we can have a better Bahamas, a better, a smarter, a more empowered Bahamas. And I let on that note.
Okay, the only thing I would say is anybody who is interested in joining the force, do not ask, what can the force do for you? Ask what you can do for the force. Do not come to the police force with your hands swinging. Bring something to the table that could add value to the organization. If you have an opportunity to further your education or skill, whether it be through academic or vocational or technical expertise, go and get skilled up. If you have the financing, go ahead and come to the force with something that we can use. There's so much areas in force, all the way from boat captains to airline pilots to scientists, anything, musicians, anything you wish to do, canine handlers, forensic scientists. Come to the force and bring something to the table and help keep our country safe.
I love how you swing that because I wasn't even thinking like that. I was thinking, come to serve, but you say come with something, and that's great. You can come, you can get all your knowledge. You can be the ace student. You don't just have to come to the police force just because you only have your BJCs. You can come with a top student, and you can serve.
Yep, absolutely.
We want to thank both of you for putting on your capes tonight, because we know the police force is like superheroes in the job and everything that you take on in dealing with the community. And we just want to thank you, Assistant Commissioner Dr. Chaswell Hanna. We want to thank you, Superintendent Mr. Keith Ferguson. We want to thank you, Table of Change listeners, for listening tonight. We're going to next week, same time, 8 p.m., Table of Change. My name is Tamara Fox-Smith.
I'm Jacqueline Fernanda Moxie.
I'm Dr. Chaswell Hanna.
Superintendent Keith Ferguson.
It's been a great evening, and I want to say thank you to that police officer who corrected that person on the light who was trying to run into me. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Good.
The views expressed on this show, interview, or program are not necessarily the views expressed by the ZNS Radio Network and by extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.